Sound and your TV first of all, because these new flat screen TVs, they're awesome, big picture, great, but the sound, there's no room for speakers. So most of us are like, wow, something's missing. You know, when you're watching a movie on your TV, the producer of that movie spent millions on the soundtrack. If you don't hear it, you miss all that effect. So we're going to start things off with the Bose Solo 15 Series 2 TV sound system. Nobody but Bose could come up with such an effective way to have surround sound without having to wire speakers and dig holes through your floor. This system has a series of speakers throughout, and it truly replicates that surround sound experience. E230378 is the item number. You see the retail value on your screen. Well, our sale price is $299.96. 6 easy payments of $49.99, free shipping and handling. This is an expiring offer because it's part of our Spring on Tech event that's going on now through the end of March on QVC, QVC Plus, and QVC.com. In fact, visit QVC.com. You'll see more tech offers, some limited time offers, some easy pay offers. Here's a great one. Here to tell us more about it is one of our electronics experts and Bose representative, Mr. Brett Hamilton.
Hey,
how are you, my friend?
Good, man. How are you?
Good to see you.
Excellent.
Also, you're known as the king of 20 seconds, I heard from
later.
your old days in radio. But really, that's the problem. You know, so many TVs today, the manufacturers are giving us great picture, but they're forgetting about sound.
They are, and I think you sacrifice some because you want it to look pretty, right? You spend all that money, as Dan said, on a 40, 50, 60, some cases now 70 and 80-inch TVs. You hang them on the wall. They look like a beautiful portrait. The problem is when something is as thin as all this new technology is, where do you put the audio? And when you sacrifice the audio, you're really only getting half the product because, as you also said, millions and millions and millions of dollars, not just to make movies, but TV now. Netflix is even doing original programming. Amazon, all these different production companies spending millions and millions of dollars to make it look and sound good. And then you play it through a TV and you go, wait a second, it looks great, but what about the sound? What about what I'm paying for when I paid for that TV? What am I getting in return? Well, the problem is you're not getting a whole lot in return because you're only getting half the product.
Let's demonstrate.
Here we go. This is a movie, and you're listening to the television audio. And by that, I mean we're listening through the speakers that are either in the back or below the TV that you have at home. And to the naked ear, so to speak, it's not really that bad, right? Well, listen to all the detail, and then listen to the detail when we switch it over to Bose so you can see what you're missing.
I learned to notice things.
Back to the TV. What happened? The bottom fell out, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
And just like that, it's time again.
And then take it away.
Gone.
It goes flat.
You
You're
don't hear
missing it.
You're not hearing the pots rattling. You're not hearing the silverware hit the floor.
Not nearly. Oh.
Now you are.
So what does that do? That draws you in. The sound is powerful, and not just for movies like this.
Wait for it.
Wow. Not just for movies, but
wild,
so
right?
many TV shows. I was watching my favorite where they sing and they spin the chairs, and that sound has got to be incredible.
Yep.
And without this, you're missing it. Now, can I use this with any TV, and is it hard to hook up? What's that all about?
Well, here's the great part about it. It's one cable, and to answer your question, it'll support about 75 pounds. Now, even though the televisions are made because it's a wider base to stand on top of here, you don't have to put your TV directly on top of the Bose. If you've got a wall-mounted television, this could go on a shelf, this could go underneath the television, but here's the best part of all. How easy is it to hook up a Bose sound system? It's one cable. Well, I lied, it's two cables. One you're gonna plug into the wall. That goes right there. Now you've got power. Then, what about the 85 different cables you need to make your television and your Bose work? No, it's either one or the other. You either plug it in with the old time red and white, just like the VCR days, which would go right there.
And that depends on your TV.
Yep. Or you use something called an optical cable, which is the digital answer to your audio. Now here's the best part about it. Unlike every other sound system out there, you don't have to configure anything. You don't have to do any setup. You don't have to say, all right, well, now I've got to go into the remote and I have to hit this button and that button and this button. No. It's smart enough to know that either this cable's being used or this cable is being used. So in theory, it's one audio cable from here into the back of your TV, and all you have to do is spin around your television and go, okay, well, I see the red and white. Or if you want an even better signal, you're going to use what's called this optical cable. Optical is really fancy for digital.
Right.
Digital is replacing the old analog sound. So
what about the remote? Is that hard to use?
no, in fact, it's a universal remote. So not only is it going to control your Bose Solo sound system, if you take a peek up here, now the ability to sync other devices. So you've got a DVD player, your cable or your satellite box. You've got a gaming system, maybe auxiliary, and look at what's sitting right here in the center. That's the universal symbol for Bluetooth. Bluetooth is tech speak for wireless. Wireless audio being sent from another device directly to your Bose sound system. So stop and think about that for a second. I know you look at the price, you look at the investment that you're making, and many go, well, I don't really watch enough TV to justify spending the money on just a sound system for my television. You can synchronize a phone. You can wirelessly send music from a tablet, from a computer.
Wait, all the songs I have on my phone, I can play through this?
You play directly through this wirelessly.
Awesome.
So all you have to do is hit the little Bluetooth button on here.
Yeah.
It'll then speak to your phone or your MP3 player or your tablet or your computer. Now you got the best of both worlds because not only is it hooked up to your television, but it's also hooked up to your entire music library.
Wow, this is fantastic. Here's some more features. Let's go through some of the top features of E230378. Remember, it's on our best easy payment plan. 6 easy payments. Easy setup, one connection to the TV, as Brett just showed us. And look at that.
There you go. And again, you can put it right underneath your television, or you could set the television directly on top. It's built to handle about 75 pounds, but there's that Bose True Space technology. As Dan was saying, it's simulating surround sound without all the mess. Dialogue. Wait till we show you what this dialogue button is going to do. And as we just mentioned, the built-in Bluetooth allowing you to take the music from a phone, from a tablet, from a computer, from an MP3 player, and be able to use this as your sound system for your entire home. And also that universal remote, which will allow you to control other devices as well. And some improvements, some upgrades from the previous version of this include that dialogue button. And many of you go, well, this might be the answer I've been looking for when it comes to watching TV, especially late at night. Your husband, your wife, your significant other sitting next to you or trying to sleep next to you in bed, and you don't want to keep creeping the volume up a little bit more because you keep missing what they're saying. How many times are you watching? This was a perfect example. We'll show you again. You're watching a movie with a lot of activity. There's a lot of action. It's explosions from a car chase. It's fireworks going off. It's a newscaster doing what they call a stand-up out in the street, right? And there's fire engines and stuff going behind them. You're like, I got to hit rewind. I got to, no. This will actually take and enhance the mid-range, okay? High, mid, and low in audio. High end, low end is the bass. The mid-range,
that's dialogue.
That's the dialogue. Well, most televisions don't have the ability to separate that. This dialogue button that's on here will allow you to go and with the touch of one button actually enhance that dialogue. So instead of having to constantly rewind and rewind and rewind until you hear what they're saying, or as I've been doing, in the past before this, having to turn on the closed captioning. I think you start to feel older when you're like, wait a second, I can't be the only one.
You're a little young to doing that,
You know what, there's so many shows now.
Although the hair is a little gray.
It's a little on the gray side. By the way, closed captioning is a great little trick. Anyway, the dialogue button saves you the hassle of doing all that because you can turn it on and then not have to rewind that scene over and over and over again.
And that's just embarrassing if you have friends over using closed captioning. E230378, hey, Bose. You know, when I discovered Bose, my life really changed because I'm a music lover. And I hate when the music doesn't sound great. With Bose, you hear all that separation, high and low end, but you don't have to do any EQing, any special settings. They have figured it out. And you know, there's a reason why they become the name in sound. I mean, they work and work and work at it. It's all they do.
Yeah, it's all they do, and you can see them on the sidelines when you look at the NFL games. You see the coaches wearing the headsets.
My last car, the feature that sealed the deal, Bose sound system, and I'm like, done.
They're like, don't you want to know how fast this thing can go? Don't you want to kind of fuel economy? No,
I don't
what's
care.
The sound system sound like?
The sound system.
That's because Dan and I are both music junkies.
That's right.
Yeah, so whether it's a Sistine Chapel, whether it's NASA, whether it's in these huge arenas that use Bose sound system, you listen to music and you listen to it a different way when you hear it through a Bose sound system. And another great example would be music. Because we listen to so much music, you
Watch
go, all right,
this. Listen to this.
This TV is turned all the way up. This is a big name brand TV that I blacked out because I don't want to offend anybody. It doesn't sound bad, right? It doesn't sound this good.
Wow.
And so you hear that low end, that bass kick in, along with all those strings, so that now you can hear the separation instead of this.
Now without it, it like went away.
And when I tell you that this is turned all the way up, this is capacity. This is loud as this television is going to get. We don't have the TV or the Bose mic. You're listening to it through the microphones that we're wearing. So you're at the mercy of where you're sitting in the room. Well, now you have a tough time, but now you can be sitting anywhere because of just how good that is.
That just brings you in. And by the way, can we turn to?
Yep.
By the way, you're listening to this over the little speaker, maybe on your TV. If you were in the studio, you would be blown away. But we have 30-day returns. Try this out for 30 days. It's so easy to hook up. You can have this hooked up and using it within 10 minutes quite easily.
I don't even think it's 10 minutes. And the time it takes you, it's probably going to take you longer to get it out of the box,
Yeah.
to peel the tape off and unpack it. And as we mentioned earlier, it's a power cable to plug it into the wall. It's one or the other of the audio cables. Either you're going to use the old RCA cables we used for VCRs years ago in your DVD player, or you use this fancy optical cable, which is a digital cable.
Yeah.
And then it's one cable into the back of the television.
And look at that retail value, $402.33. Our price on QVC, a sale price, is $299.96. We've had a great relationship with Bose over the last decade, and they do special things for QVC that they don't do elsewhere. QVC and QVC Plus, they normally don't mark their prices down ever, and we've got a special offer here. $299.96, 6 easy payments of $49.99, free shipping and handling. There's a reason you see Bose everywhere. I'm in my gym, working out, I'm doing bench press. I look up in the ceiling, Bose everywhere, speakers everywhere. They, you know, wherever sounds important, you'll find Bose.
Yeah, and the nice part about using a Bose system like this is that there's no install. Many times when you're trying to get audio, especially for a television, as Dan mentioned at the beginning, and I was kind of giggling until I realized I'd done this myself, drilling holes not only in the walls, but in the floor.
Sure.
And that is not an exaggeration. I put the sound system in my townhouse years ago, 15 years ago, and there are two speakers that are on the opposite side of the room that sit to the left and right of the couch. And I got tired of looking at the wires going behind the couch and going all the way over there to where the sound system was.
Or you're knocking the speaker over and the wire comes disconnected. And yeah, I've got carpet over where those holes are.
But my point of this is that I had a friend help me drill 2 holes in the floor in my living room. My wife was like, "Are you out of your mind? What are you doing?"
4 holes because I drilled it and I ran the under in my basement.
Figure out a way to feed
and then
it back
I brought
up
it back
again.
up. I had to drill 2 more.
That was an entire
and
afternoon.
Those speakers were stuck there.
Yeah, you can't move them now because you have 2 holes in your floor. When I go to move, those speakers, whoever buys my house, it's gonna be like bonus round because they just got 5 speakers. No, you don't need to do that anymore because instead of all the install, all the mess, all that good stuff, it's one cable. One cable from here to here. You don't even have to hide the cable because this can sit on top of your Bose Solo 15.
You know what? The thing is, so many of us with Netflix and Hulu, we're staying at home on the weekends and watching movies.
Yeah.
So much more affordable than going to the theater. But we missed that sound, the sound system in the theaters. Come on. But now we got our big screen TVs, but we're missing the sound. Now you can have that in-home theater experience. This is the Bose Solo 15 Series 2. And by the way, Brett, is this the most recent incarnation of this technology?
I'm sorry, say it again, Dan?
Is this the most recent Bose Solo?
This is Solo Series 2, and the 2 big upgrades are the fact that not only do you have the dialogue button, but you also have adjustable bass. And a lot of people going, well, great, because I'm not going to just use it for my television. I'm going to use it for the music that's in the phone, that's in the TV, or the tablet that's in the computer. All of this speaks to each other. So as far as power options and stuff like that, you can set it so that everything will turn on and everything will turn off at the same time using the universal remote. And something else very important to point out, you don't have to change the way that anything else is currently plugged into your television. By that I mean, if you've got a Xbox or a PlayStation, cable box, any of that stuff, all that still stays plugged directly into your TV. And then it's that single cable that's going to go from the television directly down into your Bose Solo 15.
So then that automatically takes the sound from the TV and amplifies it through here. Now, this looks very simple, but aren't there several speakers across here?
Yeah, there's a whole world of audio going inside there, and we can't say that it's actual surround sound. In order to make surround sound, you've got to have the 3 in the front, to the left, to the right, the center, and all that stuff in the back. But
it simulates surround.
Yeah, they're simulating surround sound.
There's times I'm watching and listening to this, I'm like,
Yeah.
Where'd that sound come from?
Well, their simulated surround sound beats most of the legitimate surround sound systems that would cost 3, 4, 5 times that. And again, being able to hit that one single button, that dialogue button, changes the way that you use your television, because many of us need to continue to turn the volume up in order to be able to hear the dialogue. You missed it in an action scene, and your wife says, "Why are you rewinding that again?" Her husband says, "You really need to turn that up again." You don't need to anymore. Hit the dialogue button, it actually enhances what they're saying. It'll enhance the dialogue, and enhances